Well, this is a month in the life of a publisher, and I figured the best way to do it was just to look at my diary, because when I'm working, I keep a record of everything I do, which sounds really obsessive, but good Lord, it's so useful. It's called the Handheld Diaries. I've been keeping these as Word files since we began the company, which is now getting on to 5 years ago. And the current file is called Handheld Diaries 18. And I began it just at the beginning of the year. So the first thing I did was ask our UK distributors about an incoming book that we'd just reprinted. And I was so worried that we wouldn't have it ready in time, because it was to be published. It was published in the middle of January, and we'd almost sold out of the first print run. So I had to get it reprinted over Christmas. So I asked NBN, our UK distributors, has it arrived yet? And that was the first thing I did in January. Metadata, oh, it's so dull, but this is what I have to do. When you have a lot of books out, you have to keep the metadata up to date. And our US distributor have this massive data program called CoreSource, was a database really. And it requires updating with things that I don't understand. So I get these emails saying, download this and re-upload it. And I did that. And it's just a mystery to me. Thankfully, I've got a freelance assistant to do quite a lot of this metadata nonsense, because I haven't got enough head to cope with it all. I sent the bookseller the details for our May book. Every month, the bookseller runs previews for the book trade on books coming up in the few months ahead of time. So that was in January. I'm sending information about the May book. I started looking at our biography collection in the house, because I'm thinking I would like to publish more classic biographies. We are going to be publishing a classic biography. I'm working on that now. And I thought, well, I should just check what else we've got. Our March title, this was something I had to do quite early on in January. I needed to send the advance information to all the reviewers that we've got in our contacts list who would be interested. And then Judith, my publicity assistant in London, she will do the same. I asked the UK distributor to send the British Library their statutory copies of our January, March and our May books, because that's an essential task. We have to do this as a legal requirement, and it's just so much more useful if our distributor do it for us, because they've got all the backing stuff and they can send 6 copies of each title and pack them properly. If I did that, they would not get there well. One of my existing live authors sent me a final draft of her new book, and I read it. It took me a long afternoon of reading it, and it was good, but I sent her a very long email saying it's good, but it's not right for us, and these are the reasons why it's not right for us, and these are the reasons why I think you can make it better for a different publisher. It took me a long time to do that. That was the best part of an afternoon, but it was worth it. That's the part of editing I really enjoy, assessing a book. And because we publish mostly authors who are no longer alive, it's such a treat to be able to talk to a live author about a book. We no longer publish modern fiction because, frankly, I don't know how to market it, but biography and letters we can do, and I really, really like doing them. We don't do many, but we're building up the list. So although I said no, it was a really, really good thing to do. It felt this is constructive, productive, it's helpful to the author, and it's actually very good for me because it helps me refine what I'm doing and makes me question, well, why are we not going to take this on? What is it about this book that makes me think it's not going to sell, it's not complete yet, whatever. It's just good practice. It's a good way of practicing your art as an editor. We're planning about 18 months ahead, and actually that's not that long. Some books have been in production, in planning, in discussion for 2 years before I actually published them. I would like them to be out immediately because I get so excited about our books. I was told the sales conference date for our US sales reps. This is basically a 20-minute Zoom presentation by me to sales reps in the States. And I sometimes repeat this for the UK sales reps. And I just go through the titles for the period of time that they're interested in. So in February, I will be doing a sales presentation for the titles that we're publishing in September and November and January 22-23. So I confirmed the date and I worked out which titles. Well, it's not difficult, but I had to work out, yes, it's those dates for those titles, and I sent them the information. So that's all set up. I just have to write the script. And actually that's not difficult. I know these books so well by now. I can just talk, I can talk ad lib, I can talk off the top of my head. I wrote the newsletter. In the middle of each month, I write the newsletter, and it goes out round about the 15th, and I tend to write it the day before. I keep a running list during the months of what I'd like to go in the next newsletter. So links for reviews, updates about things coming up, like book stalls, talks I'm doing, and so on. And interesting snippets of information. So I look at my little list, I write my newsletter, I send it to Sharon. Sharon sends it back to me in layout as a document that's emailed to our really quite large mailing list now. And yeah, it'll go out on the 15th. Now, the weekend, I always work at the weekend. I don't work very much, but there are things that have to happen at the weekend. On this particular weekend, the 16th, I needed to send the Zoom link to the participants for the online book launch for the Malcolm Saville book, Jane's Country Year. So this was quite a lot of participants, about 60 odd. So I patiently pasted their email addresses into an email, and sent email after email of a limited list of people. So they will all have their individual email with the Zoom link. On the 17th, the day before the book launch, no, it was actually the book launch, I was talking about permission fees for the T.H. White image. I was looking for the actual image itself, and I worked out it's in the Harry Ransom Center in Austin, Texas. So I asked them, can they send me a high resolution copy of the photograph so I can use it? I was putting together the PowerPoint for the book launch for Jane's Country Year, which happened that evening. I was talking to the granddaughter of an author, a deceased author, about the launch date for the book we're bringing out in May. I updated the postage and packing price on our website because I realized that for Canada, we are seriously undercharging ourselves. So I'm afraid I had to put the price up for posting books to Canada. And I updated the blurb for a book we published in 2019, because when I was doing the catalogue, I realized, this is updating the catalogue, I realized that the blurb was absolutely dreadful, and this might account for the rather low sales of this title. So I rewrote it, which means I have to update that blurb across every single instance of that book being described in all our metadata. So that's about 5 different book trade databases plus our website. And I've got to make a list of this and do it all. But apparently I did, all on the 17th. And on the evening of the 17th of January, we had a really, really good book launch on Zoom for Jane's Country Year. It was great. On the 18th, still flushed with the excitement of the book launch, I started researching another cover. This isn't a cover that we need for the sales conference, but it's a cover I need for our March title. And I had a feeling it was going to be hard work, because it's a great collection of stories and essays in this case, but the cover image is not obvious. Some books, it's a really obvious cover image. In this one, it is not obvious. So I did the first round of picture research for the cover from the Mary Evans picture library. And I sent the list of images I wanted to use to our designer, Nadja. And then she did me some roughs with different color backgrounds, different accent colors. So I sent that PDF to the man, Henry, who's going to be writing the introduction. And on this occasion, I sent it to all the people I work with regularly. To Judith, who does our publicity in London, to Emer, who does our Instagram, to Amy, who does our YouTube now, to David, our finance director, and to Michelle, who does my metadata. These people work with me closely. Other people I work with occasionally. I send them a job now and again, but these 5, these are my core staff, if you like. And they're more familiar with the books we produce. So I thought I need their opinions on these cover ideas. And that was just the beginning of the process. I am now, when I'm recording this, it's almost 2 weeks later. We still haven't got the final picture sorted. Usually we'll have sorted it in about 3 days. This one took time. This is something I've started doing in the last year, and it began because of the pandemic. Westminster libraries do online talks. They do loads and loads and loads of them. And so does the Guildhall Library. Both of these are in London. And I managed to get on their list by doing a talk for another London library, the London Metropolitan Archive. And they were so pleased with what I did. that they sent my details off, or I did the sending of details. Anyway, I'm now on the talk and speaker list. So this will be kind of a book launch event online for our future books. So on this particular day in January, I was setting up my authors to book in so they could have a conversation with me online on Zoom, so people all over the world can log in and see us. I love doing talks. I mean, I used to be a university lecturer. I can talk to 300 students quite happily. So giving a talk to 100 odd Zoom people on little black screens is brilliant. And after the talks, I get so much good feedback, and I sell books sometimes on the back of it, which is also nice. But it's such a feeling of contact with readers and with buyers, which you don't often get as a publisher. So this is such a good way to make the contact, and I thoroughly enjoy it. And I hope I give good value for a free talk. Oh yeah, on the 23rd, I had a bright idea. I was checking the proofs of our September title, which is an anthology of supernatural short stories. And I thought, I need an archaeologist to give an endorsement on the back cover because it's an archaeology-based collection. And it so happens that recently on Twitter, I've been having a conversation with an eminent archaeologist in Britain called Mike Pitts about another matter to do with archaeology, which is completely unconnected with Handheld. So I was in touch with Mike Pitts, and I thought, I wonder if Mike Pitts would like to look at this book and endorse it. So I messaged him, and he messaged back saying, yes, let me have a look. I'm not promising anything, but maybe. And I sent him the PDF. So that was nice. This is the kind of thing that happens. Spontaneous, opportunistic publicity ideas, marketing ideas occur to me at all hours of the day and night, and I just get on and do them. There is no corralling the Handheld work.